Good afternoon. Welcome to Business 360, your complete view of the stories driving business, markets, and the economy. I'm Apa Ongpin, and this is the Bilyonaryo News Channel. The country's 6 digital banks amassed over 150 billion pesos in deposits in the first quarter. Ramon Ang says San Miguel Corporation will push through with the Boracay Bridge project, disputing claims it was halted due to local opposition. And Forbes names 9 entries from the Philippines in its 30 under 30 Asia list this year. Digital banks saw rapid growth in deposits, reaching 153 billion pesos spread across 38 million accounts. The record increased by 50% compared to last year, paired with a 67% increase in customer base growth. That's roughly 25 million depositors as of March this year. The retail market takes the champion share of the credit, allowing digital transactions to outperform the largest traditional banks in the country. While the BSP notes profitability issues in digital banking, early losses are mainly seen as part of the growth curve and transition, not structural weakness. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas may raise its key policy rate to as high as 5.5% by end 2026. Fitch Solutions unit BMI expects another 100 basis points in rate hikes this year due to persistent inflation pressures. Inflation is now projected to average 6.1% in 2026, higher than earlier forecasts. BMI said the Philippines is highly exposed to global oil shocks, which are driving up prices and inflation. It added weak economic growth limits how much further the central bank can tighten policy. The Philippine economy is projected to expand by about 5% in the second half of the year. In its market call report, the University of Asia and the Pacific said the outlook is supported by base effects and an expected uptick in government infrastructure spending. If realized, the projection would outpace the 2.8% growth recorded in the first quarter. Jackpot prizes from casinos and other gambling activities are subject to final withholding tax. That is the clarification from the Bureau of Internal Revenue under Memorandum Circular 57 of 2026. The BIR said the move is meant to ensure consistent application of existing laws and promote tax equity and uniformity, and safeguard government revenue without expanding or modifying the law's scope. San Miguel Corporation said it is moving forward with its 7.8 billion peso Boracay Bridge project. SMC Chairman Ramon Ang disputed claims from Aklan Governor John Miraflores that it was halted due to local opposition. The project aims to connect Boracay Island to Caticlan in mainland Aklan through a 2.54-kilometer bridge system. The DPWH awarded the project to San Miguel Holdings under a public-private partnership. SMC must submit final requirements before work can move forward. The government has started early preparations for the 2028 presidential elections. The Commission on Elections and the DICT are focusing on safeguards against cybersecurity and AI threats. Officials warned that election risks now include deepfakes, hacking, and online disinformation campaigns. In response, the DICT is pushing to treat the next automated election system as critical national infrastructure rather than a standard government IT project. Authorities say early preparations will allow more testing and wider expert participation before the 2028 polls. We're taking a quick break. Stay with us. Business 360. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. We look at the latest economic signals to better understand the outlook for interest rates, inflation, growth, and the peso. We are joined by Professor Luis Dumlao, former Dean of the John Gokongwei School of Management. Welcome to Business 360.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So BMI now expects the BSP to raise policy rates to as high as 5.5% by end 2026. It seems to be in line with the predictable behavior of the BSP. Do you think the central bank still has room, the fiscal space, to some extent, to keep tightening without pushing the economy into a slowdown, stagflation?
Increasing inflation increasing the policy rates will definitely lower inflation, but inevitably it also will slow growth.
Yeah.
And that's predictable given that the central bank has indicated time and again that it is a inflation targeting institution, which is okay, which is good if it is inflation targeting, and it follows the model of those of the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan. But if one is more on the position of balancing growth and employment on one hand and inflation on the other hand, which is the same model that is followed by the Federal Reserve System of the United States and the Bank of England, that would be overkill.
Yeah, so in other words, they're on the right track naman.
Given that they're inflation hawks, that they're outright, they're transparent, they're targeting inflation.
Yeah. Well, BMI also said that rising energy prices and higher inflation have forced the hand of the BSP to tighten policy. So, you know, this is the thing. A lot of people think that the government has infinite fiscal space to do whatever it wants, right? Whereas in fact, yeah, they're in a way forced into a corner, with regard to, for instance, interest rates.
I like to quote John Kennedy. He once said about that the time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining.
Yeah.
The world was on a storm in COVID-19, and we got out of it in 2022. And the financial world started shining, and it was time to fix our public finance. We did not fix it, and now we are in the middle of another crisis, and now we don't have much less fiscal space.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, a lot of this has to do with people's attitudes towards what government is supposed to be doing in terms of the economy and that sort of thing. And most ordinary, I guess, voters think, oh, the government should do things that benefit me, not the economy at large or whatever. Do you, and then yesterday we had this item na nga about people are blaming President Marcos for the higher prices, as if he had control over this kind of thing. So his approval rating is now really low. Now, how can we fix this kind of perception?
The reality of politics, I guess, is if inflation is up, you blame it on someone that's comfortable and easy to blame.
Yeah.
But the reality, unfortunately, is we are passive victims of the decisions that's made in Washington, D.C. and Tehran.
Yeah, yeah. With inflation expected to stay above target for most of the year, how important is it for the BSP to keep inflation expectations anchored right now?
That's what they're doing, basically. What they do right now is not for now. Their models indicate that what they do now will take its effect about, at the very fastest, 6 months from now, but roughly 1 year to 2 years from now. So they're seeing something that would happen 1 year from now, and that's why they would be making the move. Whatever they make right now, it has nothing to do with what is happening now, but they were anchoring on the expectations of what might happen a year from now.
So it's good. They have foresight.
Yes, yes, basically, and they indicate at least they have the humility to think, and they should, that whatever they do now, they cannot do anything about it.
Yeah. The Philippines is seen as one of the more exposed economies in the world to the oil shocks. No? Are there structural weaknesses that are being exposed by this crisis?
It basically says it all, that we are basically too reliant on traditional sources of energy, which is fossil fuel and oil. And what can we do about it? And what's been done lately are what is referred in economics as time inconsistent solutions. They are the best solutions right now in the short run. For example, we provide subsidies to tricycles, to jeepneys, traditional tricycles, traditional taxis, but they are time inconsistent because it does not lead to the best long-run solution.
Yes.
The best long-run solution is SDG 7, Sustainable Development Goal 7, which is affordable and clean energy.
Yeah.
What is time consistent, not the very best solution right now, probably will cause a lot of suffering, is we let the price of transport go up because after all, gasoline prices are up. But then we put our resources immediately, our subsidies, to e-trikes, e-jeepneys. Not the best solution because not too many. Those industries, those subsectors don't employ as much.
Yeah.
But it forces us to lead to the long-run best solution, therefore dynamically consistent, which is sustainable development, goal number 7.
Yeah. Well, that's a very interesting insight. I mean, in light of let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that the Central Bank of the Philippines essentially went bankrupt because of the oil price stabilization fund. That was the single biggest factor. And it was government trying to subsidize the price of oil. You know, I hope we've learned our lesson.
Well, we cannot, so to speak, we cannot legislate supply and demand.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There's no good or bad about it. It is like the laws of physics. There's no good and bad about falling down when you jump. It is what it is. That's the science of it. And if we defy science, we're looking for something trouble.
UANP expects the economy to recover to around 5% growth in the second half through infrastructure spending projects and base effects. Do you see that 5% as attainable?
Okay, from what I'm hearing, it's that they said that the second half will average out 5%.
Yes.
What we see is it will average to just about 5%, but a bit lower than that 4.9, 4.8%. If you look at the quarterly basis, the third quarter would still be less than 5%. The fourth quarter will be the 1 to 5.2%. And that's why, on average, it would be still less than 5%. But these are based on very strong assumptions, very uncertain assumptions. That is, for me, that would be based on the assumption that the peace deal would be achieved in 2 weeks. But anything further than that, we're off the drawing board. Yeah,
because that is one of the most unassumable things in the world right now, this peace deal, you know. Despite weak growth and high inflation, UANP said the Philippines is not in stagflation. How close are we to stagflation?
Okay, so the latest growth was about
2.8?
2.8%. Okay, that is, so new word in the dictionary, we are in slowflation.
Slowflation.
Slowflation meaning slow growth and high inflation.
Yes.
Slow growth, we are still growing, but we are growing very slowly. The more dangerous one is stagflation, which is negative growth and high unemployment. So negative growth, no more growth, it's contracting, and inflation. So right now we are still not in a good situation. It's not as bad as stagflation, but we are definitely in a slowflation. Thank you.
That's a very good insight also. Slowflation, guys, new word. How much can government spending and infrastructure projects, which the government has announced, help offset the impact of higher interest rates and elevated fuel prices. I mean, we know that government spending goes directly to the, to the GDP growth bottom line, right?
So even if government started with its infrastructure, it's not like something that, it's not a switch that you turn off and then you turn off very quickly. Even if it starts doing its construction, it would take a while. It's something that you have bureaucracy taking care of the papers, and then you have canceled contracts. Then you have to rebid them. It's not a switch on and off thing. It might actually help, but it doesn't. It's not automatic that it goes as soon as the third quarter of this year.
I wonder if they will. They will really cancel the Boracay bridge.
Oh, that will take a while. Yes. So,
the economy grew just 2.8% in the first quarter, which is below target. What do you think would be the key drivers that could determine whether growth picks up or stays weak? If it's, if infrastructure spending is one of the long-term things.
If we are passive victims, collateral damage of what's happening right now during the war, we could also be collateral beneficiaries or passive beneficiaries of the not primary income from abroad. And right now, more dollars are coming in than going out because of the of remittances. But we want to make it clear that traditionally, when we speak of remittances, people think automatically of overseas Filipino workers or migrant workers. It's coming in, but there are three sources right now. One is the migrant workers. The second one is the business process outsourcing, and which we much take advantage because of the friendshoring initiatives of democratic countries around the world. And the third one, people always speak of artificial intelligence or AI. People don't talk about RI or remote intelligence. Remote intelligence meaning they use also another dictionary, DA, which is digital assistants. So many abroad are taking advantage of Filipinos who are able to use AIs and them being hired to become DAs, digital assistants, and they receive salaries from abroad.
So that's a growing sector.
That's a growing sector, yes.
The peso remains under pressure as oil prices rise and the dollar stays strong. How concerning is the current level of the currency for the broader economy? Obviously, I mean, it's really middle-class people who care about the dollar. Exporters, are happy with a weaker peso.
The main concern right now, so what I have about before the war is we have this statistics called confidence interval, like 95% where it fall. It used to be +1, -1 pesos, 95% confidence. It can fluctuate. If it's 60, it can fluctuate between 61 and 59, 95% with 95% confidence. Now it has widened. If it's now 60, it can go as far as 62 and it can go down as far as 58. It's a ±58. So there is now some greater volatility wherever that the peso per dollar will go.
Okay. Finally, I wanted to take off from your thing, fix the roof while the sun is shining. Okay, so it's raining now, but do you think that the BSP is really acting long-term to address these structural weaknesses? And of course, the government. I mean, are we rolling out what they call this sustainable energy or renewable energy solutions fast enough? I mean, could we accelerate these things?
So if it's just the central bank, it's very clear. We're doing inflation targeting. Anything else, if we go out apart from that, then we're actually building our credibility. That's what they're sending the message, that we are inflation targeting institution. Forget the rest, including the targeting exchange rate. As far as the government is concerned, it does not have the fiscal space, but what it can do is actually reallocate the spending to something that's wiser, something that is more time consistent. Yes, there are people who are suffering, but it has to be made clear that these are temporary subsidies. And the alternative, of course, is to put some of these resources to something that is more time consistent, that would force people to, that would alter our behavior in the long run to use clean energy.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to cite one small example. For instance, with the rise in oil prices, we also have seen a huge rise in the price of urea, the fertilizer, the basic fertilizer, which is really key in rice cultivation. So the government has decided, okay, well, look, we're going to try to subsidize this and get cheaper urea to our farmers. Because if the rice farmers, for instance, are confronted with these very high urea prices, they're not going to plant. And then what's going to happen? You know, we're going to have less rice supply, so the price of rice is going to shoot up, and that has a direct effect on inflation. So that's one area, parang, where subsidy makes sense, no?
Another one, I'll give you another example that's time consistent. Okay, the subsidy on the fare of the MRT.
Yes.
That's time inconsistent.
Yes.
It's not the best short-run solution because LRT, MRT, they don't employ as much as the jeeps, the trikes, and so on. But it's time consistent because it's forcing us to use mass transportation. It's forcing us so that eventually we rely on energy-saving transportation. And it leads us to something that is consistent with our long-run tasks, long-run aspirations, that we use reliable energy. So that's one. So give credit to our government. Not everything is bad. They are doing something, but they have to be sometimes even wiser than what's happening right now.
Yeah, and it seems they are thinking about these things.
Let's see.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Professor Luis Dumlao. And more stories when we return. Business 360 will be right back. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. secured about 210 billion pesos in investment commitments from Japanese companies during his visit to Tokyo. The deals were announced during a business roundtable with top Japanese executives. The investments are expected to create thousands of jobs and support industries such as tourism, technology, and infrastructure. Marcos said the Philippines and Japan are entering a new phase of deeper economic cooperation and shared growth. The International Criminal Court sets former President Rodrigo Duterte's trial to start on November 30. The ICC held a status conference to review submissions and requirements from the prosecution, defense, and victims' representatives. Duterte is facing crimes against humanity charges over his administration's war on drugs. The presiding judge ordered both sides to prepare a joint instruction for experts with next hearings set for June 23 and July 14. The court is still waiting on a report on Duterte's fitness to stand trial. His legal team is now led by attorney Peter Haynes after Nicholas Kaufman withdrew from the case. The Ombudsman filed plunder and graft cases against Senator Jinggoy Estrada and, this time, former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan before the Sandigan Bayan. An arrest warrant is expected soon as plunder is non-bailable. The case stems from an alleged misuse of funds in DPWH flood control projects. Estrada denied wrongdoing, claiming he has no budget insertions. He still faces multiple graft cases despite previous acquittals in PDAF-related charges. The House Prosecution Panel is continuing preparations for the upcoming impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The team is conducting mock trials to practice their case and test their arguments. Manila Representative Joel Chua said they plan to reduce the number of witnesses to speed up the process. He added they believe available evidence may be enough to secure a conviction. Potential witnesses may include representatives from the Ombudsman, Anti-Money Laundering Council, and National Bureau of Investigation. More stories when we return. Business 360. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. Wall Street's record run continues with the Dow Jones Industrial Average closing at an all-time high as investors shift into healthcare and consumer stocks. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq were mostly steady as investors took a breather from the AI-led rally. This while closely watching Middle East peace talks. Modest gains were still enough to push both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq to record closes for the second straight session. Here at home, Philippine shares slide for a second consecutive day. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index closed back around the 5,800 level. All sector indices ended lower, with holding firms leading the declines. The most active stocks also closed in the red, with Converge posting the steepest loss. White flags may be emerging after the Lopez Group withdrew its resolution to oust Piqui Lopez as CEO. That and more in this report by Ches Huli.
There may be signs of a possible truce within the Lopez family, according to First Gen Corporation CEO Federico Piqui Lopez. During First Gen's annual stockholders meeting Thursday, Piqui Lopez said that the withdrawal of the resolution by the Lopez Group's parent company could be a possible first step toward resolving the family's internal dispute.
In the meantime, I remain fully prepared for any outcome that will follow this peace overture, and I will continue to fulfill my fiduciary duties to all shareholders in the companies of the Lopez Group.
The 71% majority block of Lopez Incorporated earlier announced that they were withdrawing a resolution that removed Piqui Lopez as president and CEO of the family's private holding company. The group previously said that harm has been done to everybody, adding that agreements have been signed. The bloc added that the decision will help ease tension among family members. Meanwhile, First Gen President and Chief Operating Officer Francis Gayos-Puno defended the change of management control provisions in the deals between the power producer and Razon-led Prime Infra Capital. The Lopez majority earlier criticized the provisions, warning these could have exposed the group and its shareholders to as much as 24 billion pesos in penalties if certain executives were removed.
Note that the change of management control provision is widely recognized as a relatively standard contractual mechanism in the energy and infrastructure industries. Such a provision is routinely included in agreements to provide counterparties with basic assurance and predictability in relation to their project.
Meanwhile, during the ASM, First Gen reported a revenue of $904 million in 2025, up by 5.6% compared to the $856 million in 2024. The company's overall profit after expenses across its businesses rose to $437 million in 2025, up 29.3% from $338 million in 2024. Piqui Lopez said that the broader FPH Group continues to expand its businesses through energy transition, resilient infrastructure, sustainable land development, manufacturing, and human capability building.
This year, 2026, marks 10 years since First Gen made the decision to say no to coal choosing instead to deepen its commitment to cleaner, more resilient, and more sustainable energy systems.
He added that these businesses are meant to help industries, institutions, and communities adapt to a changing world as the group pushes for what he called a decarbonized and regenerative future. Che Sulit, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
9 Filipinos have made it to Forbes' 30 Under 30 Asia 2026 list. Forbes magazine's annual list recognizes outstanding young individuals across Asia and Oceania under 30 years old across multiple industries. Among those featured is Filipino tennis star Alex Ayala, who is included in the entertainment and sports category. Filipino singer Zach Tabudlo also made the list, along with the founders of Fancon C, Go Rocky, Amico Innovations, Bayani Chain Tech, Cignal, Empath, and ASEAN Youth Advocates Network. We're taking a quick break. Stay with us. Business 360 will be right back. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. Recent developments in Iran negotiations failed to satisfy U.S. President Donald Trump. Instead of easing sanctions on Iran, Trump is focusing more on ensuring the Strait of Hormuz is opened and remains free from any control.
Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control
It's
it?
international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine.
Trump also said he is not comfortable with China or Russia having access to Iran's uranium supply. Counterfeit goods are still widely bought in local Vietnamese markets despite government crackdowns and the threat of U.S. tariffs. Local shopkeepers in Vietnam expressed concerns over the impact of piracy and counterfeit goods to the local economy.
I think it's time for us, Vietnamese businesses, to change our mindset in doing business. Products that we sell should have a clear and clean origin, come with full paperwork from the brands. We should also sell products with better quality and not fake ones, to be more appealing to tourists and to boost the economy.
Washington says intellectual property violations in Vietnam are serious and harmful to the U.S. economy. It has labeled Vietnam as the worst global offender and may launch a probe that could lead to trade tariffs. The Ebola outbreak in Congo continues to disrupt community trade along with its risks on public health. Local sellers are feeling the impact of disrupted cross-border trade with Uganda and Rwanda.
This is my last stock, and I do not know where I am going to go to restock. In any case, the government must find a solution for us from this disease, this virus that is putting us all in chaos.
We cannot do our business like before. We are forced to send money to Uganda so that someone buys for you and sends it to you at exorbitant prices, and we are not satisfied. The authorities must find a solution for the population of Banya. We risk all becoming thieves and criminals if we cannot do business.
An expert from the University of Bunia warns flight and trade restrictions could isolate the city economically. He adds that road transport delays may lead to serious shortages as supplies run low.
There are sellers who are almost out of stock. We are also learning that Uganda has closed.
The World Health Organization reports over 900 suspected cases, 101 confirmed infections, and about 220 suspected deaths in Congo and Uganda. More news across the globe after the break. Stay tuned. Business 360. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. The Australian government is set to sue U.S. company 3M over contamination issues in its manufactured firefighting foams. Australian Attorney General Michelle Rowland says their $1.4 billion claim is the Australian Commonwealth's largest legal case ever lodged in its history.
The Commonwealth is seeking more than $2 billion in damages to recover significant past and future expenses incurred in investigating and managing contamination resulting from the historical storage and use of this foam. Let me be clear, this is the largest legal claim ever brought by the Commonwealth.
The U.S. manufactured foam allegedly contains PFAs, or forever chemicals. The Australian government believes that the foam may have caused economic, cultural, and environmental damage. FIFA, the international football organization, is being investigated over ticket prices for the 2026 World Cup. Officials in New York and New Jersey are looking into claims that fans were misled and that ticket prices were artificially increased. There are reports that some more expensive seats were released after initial ticket sales.
If they bought tickets based on representations by FIFA about the seating arrangements and later found themselves in less desirable seats due to arbitrary changes in seat categorization, this could be seen as misleading, potentially actionable under the New York and New Jersey consumer protection laws.
The FIFA president earlier defended their organization, saying that the high prices reflect strong public demand. Pope Leo XIV took Ferrari's all-electric vehicle, their first one, out for a spin. Sighted in his or near his residence in Castel Gandolfo, the Pope inspected Ferrari's Luce model with Ferrari chair John Elkann. Elkann donated the car's steering wheel as a tribute to the Pope, and the Luce model is Ferrari's first ever entry in the world's e-vehicle race. And that's Business 360. We'll keep tracking the moves that matter across markets, policy, and the economy. I'm Apa Ongpin. Thank you for joining us. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.